Hey there, so today we have another review. I am so excited to review this for you guys. This is arguably the greatest IPA of all time, and arguably the greatest beer of all time by objective standards. If you want to dig into the review of this beer, please skip ahead. So we're going to talk about this beer for a bit. This is Fathead's Headhunter, and if you guys are worried, I'm going to do multiple reviews of this beer because I have a 6-pack, and well, there's only a few more beers out of that 6-pack left, but I'm going to do multiple reviews of this beer, so you can don't worry about the review. But let's talk about this beer. So this is from Fatheads. They are out of Ohio, and Middleburg Heights, Ohio, and this is just a hugely important beer. So basically, this beer has won GABF Silver in 2010 for IPA. IPA, by the way, is by far the most competitive category. Hundreds of submissions are put in every year. It is always the number one. I think it might have got replaced recently, but still, like, easily top 3 of most submitted categories in GABF, which is Great American Beer Festival, the most prestigious beer judging competition in all of America. So 2010, they got silver. 2011, they got bronze. In 2012, they won World Beer Cup, which is arguably number 2 for most prestigious award. It was a World Beer Cup, not American. So, and then 2014, they got silver. And then last year, so we got 2010, 2011, 2012, 2014. Last year, 2023, they won the best. GABF Gold for American IPA, World Beer Cup Gold at World Beer Cup. So we're talking about 400 submissions at World Beer Cup, over 200 submissions at GBF, and they won this beer blind. By the way, these competitions are blind, by the way. This beer won both last year. So that's 600 submissions for 2 competitions last year, and no beer has ever done it. And then now we're talking about IPA, which is the most competitive category. And then craft beer and brewing put it as one of the top 10 beers or 20 beers or 25 beers of last year. So this is just an insane, like, it's literally the Tom Brady, the GOAT of beer. Like, to win GABF 2010 and then win it again in 2023, like, think about that span. It just, for 13 years, this beer has been winning in the most competitive category, the most prestigious awards. Like, it's insane. Like it's not winning, like, Dunkelweizen or Ultimate, right? Like, this is the hardest competition to win and the hardest category to win, and this beer wins it. Headhunter. Sorry for the rant, but this beer, like, needs the appreciation. Like, these are just, like, not things you can do, but somehow this beer does it. Cool thing about this beer is that I actually don't believe I've actually reviewed this beer specific. Oh, actually I have. Early. You guys can check out my review. It's horrific to see the quality of the video. So I actually posted up there. I did a blind. I traded with somebody and got early on. This is like literally one of the first reviews I've ever done. So this is like literally 10 years ago. Sorry for saying literally so much. That's such a generation thing to say. And then I did it against White Raja and Columbus IPA, and I'm just doing this right now. But again, I'm going to review this for you guys again. I just want to revisit this beer because I think it's that special. So let's get this guy. This, by the way, is a West Coast IPA, some 5, so it's pretty much a double IPA / IPA. That's literally the line on BJCP. Like, is it IPA or double IPA? Call it what you want. I will say, actually, I'm a little bit more familiar with Fatheads than some because I've reviewed a couple beers from them. But actually, when I was in Portland, my hostel was right by downtown, and I actually got to go to the tap room. Weird enough, it no longer exists, but an Ohio brewery opened up a tap room in Portland, Oregon, and that was really cool. They had some really tasty beers, exactly the right place to be, because those are like bone dry, Pacific Northwest style IPA. So anyway, beer comes in a really nice kind of like a medium gold color. So it's actually not that pale, and then it's pretty clear. Yeah, a little bit of I can see my finger through it, so a little bit chill haze. Wonderful off-white head on that. Oh man, that's great. pear candy, pine, marijuana, dank, grapefruit, white grapefruit, tangerine, white flowers, floral action. Very tasty. Very tasty smelling nose. But it's explosive. It's very saturated, rich, ripe. Honestly, reminds me a little bit of like a highlight with the concentrated citrus character. But the dankness is really nice. It smells awesome. Cheers. So this is not the first can I've had, but I've had it before, but I didn't have another can tonight. But so the one thing I noticed about the beer is dry. It's a very dry beer. So it's sort of fitting that Fatheads had a brewery in Portland. Sort of reminds me of the dank, dry beers that Katie brought back home or got shipped back from Portland. Those beers are just very specifically weed-driven, dank, and dry. And this has that kind of backbone to it. So up front, it follows the nose. You get some of that kind of like palm fruit, like pear, and like tart pear, maybe. Definitely grapefruit for sure. White grapefruit. A little bit of that juicy tangerine to orange peel thing going on. There's a really nice kind of like juicy malt in the middle. Even though this beer doesn't seem like it's that dark, medium gold color, but it has a little bit of juicy malt character in the middle. And then it has a nice, like, solid dankness, but not going too far. Not all the way to, like, sometimes you get, actually for this beer, sometimes, I've had a can before, sometimes you get a little bit of this kind of, like, almost like Nelson and Sauvignon Blanc white grape character. And I get a little bit of white grape in here, even though this beer is not a New World hop beer. I think it's, like, all just traditional West Coast hops, like, Amarillo, Cascade, Santa. I have to find it, but anyway, you guys find the next review. And then it has this really nice thing that Heady Topper does, where it's solidly bitter, but it's saturated hop character. And the beer is actually really bitter. This is a beer that I do not recommend for early beginner IPA drinkers. It is a very bitter beer. It is full bitter. I mean, not like bracingly so. Some beers have, like, bitterness is not always the same depending on the hop compounds that you get out of the hops. Some beers can be really like abrasively bitter. It's a really nice kind of like lingering, like this beer kind of, the bitterness here reminds me of like top tier IPAs, which include Lunch, Heady Topper, the Comrade Elevated, maybe Pliny the Elder's maybe included in that. The beer drinks around like 6.5, 7 maybe, 7.5, yeah. The beer is actually 7.5. There's a little bit of that kind of juicy malt, but it's bone dry. Is a quickly dipping kind of like sweetness to it. Once you get past the third 3/4 of the palate, it becomes bitter. It lingers. You have a nice saturation, a hop flavor. It's a sort of another world-class IPA. Cigar City High Lie does. It just goes. Yeah, it's a very special beer. You don't get awards like Tom Brady and be the greatest of all time of IPAs, award-wise, without being so tasty. This can, by the way, is 3 weeks fresh. So they just dropped it in Florida. I'm going to have to pick up as much as I can because, golly, this beer is special. And I hope they keep sending it, but I don't know if they will. So, oh, wow. So one of the impressions I have about this beer is that, to tell you guys to see what video this is. I think we're at like 3,600 videos. I've done the math. I want to say I've had anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 unique beers in my life. Yeah, 5 to 10,000. At this rate, 10 years in, the YouTube channel has existed for like I think about like 12 years now. It is very rare for me to find something shocking, right? Like I've had so many beers, like you can't really like blow me away with like things that like shock me. My first heady topper was shocking. There are certain beers that are just shocking. This far deep, 12 years in, with the YouTube channel and almost somewhere between 5 to 10,000 beers. This beer is shocking. It's special, and it's not my favorite of all time. I can't say that. And maybe if I get more familiar with the beer, I will. But it's certainly a special beer. Like you could like just taste it. Like IPAs don't taste like this. And oh, the other thing, it has a little bit of kind of stone, kind of dankness that almost comes off like phenolics, like this. Yeah, the hops almost come off like plasticky and phenolic, which Stone does it to a great extent with fresh Stone IPA and fresh Ruination that I recently reviewed. So this beer is just insane. It's insane. It's an insane beer. Shout out to Chris Quinn, by the way, from Beer Temple, who is a huge inspiration for me. If you guys have never seen it, he used to do a YouTube channel. Literally one of the reasons why I do a YouTube channel now. So shout out to him. This was literally his favorite beer of all time. Yeah. So he owns a beer store, now a beer bar and beer store, and has a podcast. Shout out to Chris Quinn. You've got Chicago guys, you know. What a special beer. Wow. I'm loving it. So the last time I had IPA this good was when I was in Colorado. I was in Denver. And this beer had both Pliny the Elder and Elevated La Cumbre IPA. No offense. Elevated La Cumbre is better than Pliny the Elder. That's my opinion. But those are two of the greatest IPAs I've ever had in my life. And this is just right up there. This is insane. Okay. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Bing bong, bing bong. Solid 100 out of 100. 100 out of 100. That is insane. I'm going to review it again for you guys. Sorry for the enthusiasm and the whole history lesson. The next review will be just another take on it with a different palette and a different time. And, we'll see how it goes. But we'll see how my rating goes. 100 out of 100. This is the GOAT, the greatest of all time IPA. Cheers.